Next up, we have the Battle of Tedorigawa from the Sengoku BASARA 2 Heroes soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, join the Discord server, the gaming channel, how to request songs if you're not on the live stream, members getting early access, I have a spiel for this, and a bunch of other things at the end of this video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video to read them in full. Otherwise, please be patient with me. I am acoustic and guitarded, so please keep that in mind. With that, let's do this. Sengoku BASARA, Battle of Tedorigawa. Let's go. Okay, so I want to tackle what we just heard at the start. Percussion, and then a synth going up and down the harmonic series. So, the harmonic series, this is one of the principles from which most sound derives from. So the harmonic series, also known as the overtone series, is what happens when you basically bend sound. And yes, Minio, I have no idea what any of that means though. So let's imagine, right, that you have an audio wave, because audio, the way that sound works, it's that it's audio vibrations, right? And each vibration could be seen as a single line of a certain duration, because the vibrations will result in a certain duration. So let's say we have this line over here, which is our audio wave. This is what we're going to call our fundamental note, which is going to be the actual sound being emitted. Let's say we have C, middle C over here. Okay, so in this case, it would be wrong thing. C4, right? C4 is middle C in the piano. This one over here. So if you were to grab that and you were to then cut the audio in half from this one still playing, you would end up with the first overtone, which is C5, I believe. I think it's octave. If you take this and you cut that in half, I think you get G5. Then if you cut that in half, I think you can get C6. I think there's a way to get B flat right before that one. B flat 5, I think, and you can continue cutting and you keep getting notes higher and higher up until you reach microtones, right? And this is something that you can do with overtone singing, Mongolian throat singing. So if I were to grab this note, right, like if I sing the note itself, that's it. But if I then engage in the overtone series, you can actually hear the notes being made up and down, going up and down, and there you go. Megumi, welcome to today. Go water. Welcome to today. So yeah, you can see you can hear those overtones going up and down. That's basically what this synth is doing right now. It's sending signals to the cosmos. Didn't know it's called harmonic overtone series, harmonic series or overtone series. This is also how trumpets, trombones, French horns, tubas, that's how these instruments work as well. You get a tube of brass or any type of tube, and depending on the length is the baseline, the fundamental note that you can get. And then you manipulate the harmonic series and you get the different tones in the instrument. This is why instruments like the trumpet will have these different buttons over here, because as you can see, the trumpet has a fairly complex looking set of tubes. And what these three buttons do is that these are valves. What these valves do is that they change the length of the overall tube to change which fundamental fundamental note you get from blowing into the mouthpiece. Of course, you have to do like a certain techniques for this. Same with the trombone. You actually have the slide that you change the length with for the trombone. Right, like the trombone has a similar system, but instead of just using the valves, you actually just adjust distance-wise the length of the tubing. And then, of course, French horn has a similar system as the trumpet, except this one is using a way more complex set of tubings because it's a little bit lower in tone. And the tuba, of course, also has a similar system, except with bigger bigger tubing, right? That's why this has so much brass to it, and that's what the buttons do. The buttons change which the length of the instrument, and from there you have that. Before the tube systems, what we had were just the different horns with the coils like coiled around, and you would just have a horn player carrying around several of them. And sometimes they could, like, there were some that you could screw in and out and like assemble the different tunings for the different horns. But in general, you would have just people carrying different lengths of tubing. And then with valves came these kinds of instruments, and that's how we're getting the harmonic series. A bit of a sidetracking, mainly because I just wanted to address what the synth here at the start was doing with the harmonic series all going up and down. With that, let's go ahead and see where this goes, because then we had the drums and something else. Let's see where this goes. There we go, synth. Okay, so we bring in, this sounds to be still within the introduction of the piece itself, and we have multiple MIDI instruments. These are not studio recordings, but these are emulated with computers. We are having several horns, we have trumpets, we have trombones, we have violins, and all of them are giving us similar shapes as to what the synth was doing with the overtone series, primarily just going upwards, right? So we're having that one going on, I guess establishing a more nebulous set of chords or whatever it is. Let's see where this goes. Drums doing their thing. Holding that chord. Ooh, a little bit of rhythmic displacement there. All right, there we go. So we now introduce the I think those are either French horns or trombones, giving us our initial melody, an actual melody which contains our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else comes from. We bring in the electric guitar playing along with the drums, doing a mix of regular picking and palm muting. Palm muting in guitar, let me just go ahead and do this. So palm muting is a technique that exists in guitar, primarily used in rock, jazz, not jazz, rock, metal, sometimes funk, in which you take, let me grab a picture of a guitar, you take a guitar, and as you can see over here, the guitar contains three main areas. You have the fretboard, you have the area where you just strum the strings, and then you have the two different bridges up here where the strings go into the tuning and to where they are held together. If you then take your picking hand, usually most people pick with the right hand, and you grab your pick, you take that hand, press your palm in this spot over here that turns the strings into the guitar. You press that there, so you're not fully muting the strings so that they don't sound, but you are muting them enough so that when you pick while pressing down your palm, you get that chugging, like very, very churny chugging sound that you get from palm muting, which is very much used in metal and rock, very much so, which is what we're hearing over here. Let's see where this goes. Another thing to note over here is the drums and the horns over here are giving us a polyrhythm. Polyrhythm being rhythm against rhythm, where you have more than one rhythm playing at the same time, and the contrast between these rhythms that clash is what makes it sound good. The most basic one, of course, being the 3 versus 2 polyrhythm, in which you have one part playing 2s, 1, 2, 1, 2, and the other one playing 3s, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you get, of course, together. You get that kind of thing. So we're having a little bit more complex than that, but we are having polyrhythms playing right now between the drums, doing this very interesting, very full kit drum beat that we're getting. And then we're having the horns playing the melody that is a little bit syncopated to that with the polyrhythm. Let's see where this goes. Holding those notes now, keeping the polyrhythm. So now what we've done with the horns is that we've gone from playing the melody with one note at a time, we're keeping the same rhythm, and now we're just repeating the same note every time. It is a way of doing elongation, right? So elongation being a way in which you can develop your material, in which you slow down conceptually something. It could be a melody, it could be a rhythm, while everything else remains the same. So in this case, what have we done? We have taken the melody that was something along the lines of this, right? So something like that, right? Like, let's just say we're doing something like that, and we are now playing something way longer. But instead of just playing the notes once, we are keeping the same rhythm that we had at the beginning. And with that combination on top of the guitar and the drums gives us this over here, which allows you to spend quite a bit of time with the beat that you're doing without having to come up with that much more. Simple solution for a simple problem. So let's see where this goes. Oh, there's violins with another melody. Now to a solo violin. So we're now going from the main motif to what seems to be a more complex melody. This could be interpreted as entering a solo section. When you're making music, you want to keep a careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, too much of the same thing, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. However, there is one universal exception, regardless of genre, regardless of style, and this, again, applies universally, which is solos. You bring in a solo, and as long as it sounds cool enough and it fits enough, you can get away with pretty much anything. So right now, what are we doing? We're jumping back and forth between the violin section. A violin section is going to be multiple violin players playing the same thing at the same time. Between that, having a solo, and then having an actual violin solo playing a solo in the violin. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Okay, so yeah, we had a little bit more moment over there. We had this break over here. I'm going to go back a couple of seconds. But most importantly, another thing, another behavior that we were observing here in the violins is that between the violin section and the solo violin, we engaged in a little bit of canonic imitation. Canonic imitation, which is a form of call and response. Call and response being a musical conversation, right? Part 1, instrument 1 plays one thing. When that one stops, instrument 2 plays something else in response, what feels to be in response of that first one. Valid, welcome today. How you doing? So call and response being that, canonic imitation deriving between call and response, and the concept of a canon. Canon with one N, by the way. The canon being a piece that builds upon, that repeats and builds upon itself as it repeats. The most famous one that exists, or the simplest one that exists, of course, being row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. You have that, and each section of that that song makes it a canon at what is known as the canon at the unison, which means if you grab 4 people, if you take 4 people and you start singing with them, you just loop, right? You just start looping the song just from different starting points. So first person starts row, row, row your boat, and keeps on singing and repeat. When the first person starts gently down the stream, the second person starts from the top. When the second person starts gently down the stream, the third person starts from the top. When the third person starts gently down the stream, the fourth person starts from the top. And that's how you get the row, row, row your boat canon. So when we grab the concept of canonic imitation, we are grabbing the concept of the canon at the unison, and we're applying it to a call and response, which means does it work cross-platform? It should. Canon with one N. Canon with 2 N's is the weapon. Canon with 1 N is the musical term. So when you have this applied to the call and response, you have the violin sections playing a little bit of a melody as a call, and then the response is going to be a repetition of that same melody, and there you have canonic imitation. Does a melody that builds upon itself, you can call it a canon event? Kind of. Let's see where this goes. So now we have a break, solo violin, we slow down. Okay, so we slow down almost everything. The horns seem to still be in that overall rhythm, but we have slowed down a lot of things. We now bring a very more presential bass, like a bass with a lot more presence. With that, like, blah, like, you know, it's a synth bass with probably there's a bass guitar in the back as well, but we have a couple of more effects, probably a doubling between the regular bass and a synth bass that gives it this really cool, like, overtones messing around thing. We're having the solo violin doing its thing, and we are still having those French horns now doing another variation of that initial motif. Let's see where this goes. Then you're off. Nice ballad, nice. Drum fill. Okay, and we switch things around. So, catch you around ballad. So, we do what is called a drum fill, right? So, a drum fill is the drummer's way of building a cadence. So, when you're making music, you're doing one of 2 things. You are building tension or you're resolving that tension. That point in between, we usually call the cadence. Now, this is usually something that is done in your chords, right? Because cadence is building expectation and resolving that expectation, usually to where it's expected to be. This is something that happens in pretty much everywhere, right? Like, this is something that you can build with your own voice. As you can hear in my voice, the inflection of my voice changes as the sentence goes on. It goes up, it goes down. And you can hear when my sentences are not done, and even if I have to take a breath between words, you understand that my sentence is not done, it's not over until it's over. That is the way that cadence works. And in my case, I have made sure to craft this properly, like, with radio and practice and all that kind of stuff. It's a way that you can establish, psychologically even, to people. If you can work on your inflection, you can make people know when you are done talking. Because if somebody hears that your inflection is still going on and your sentence is not over, then they will know that you're not done. However, when it comes to drums are pure percussion, especially when you look at a drum kit. A drum kit, if you look at it, let me bring the one that we use from the top, this one over here. If you look at a drum kit, you're not going to be able to get much in terms of chords or anything like that. Because you're going to have your hi-hat, your snare, your kick drum, your crash, your toms, ride maybe. And most of the time, drummers are going to be playing a drum beat. Dum, bak, dum, bak. How do you then create cadence in a drum beat? You change it around. You bring in the parts that don't matter, that you don't use. So let's say, for example, in this case, we heard the drums were mainly using the ride cymbal, snare, and kick drum or bass drum. And what did the drum do? It changed the rhythm around to a drum fill, doing something completely different to create that idea of change has come because change is coming, kind of thing, right? So we have that going on. Then we bring in a new part for the guitar, a new guitar riff. Let's see where this goes. Oh, it has a little bit of a semblance of the motif. And we go back to the original synth at the intro. I think this is the loop. Yep, this is the loop. Yep, there you go. It's the loop. This is where it loops. Welcome back. It should fade down now. It should fade out. Wait. Slows down. Oh, it slows down at the time of the loop and it ends there with that one, so that then in the game it can loop to basically whichever part of this whole thing is supposed to go to. And there you have it, the Battle of Tedorigawa from the Sengoku BASARA 2 Heroes soundtrack. Surprisingly straightforward by how many changes it had. That was good stuff, man. That was good stuff. Let me just burp. There we go. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here, musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, don't forget to join the Discord server. That's where everything is announced first, whether it's the streams going live, videos going up on the channels, the updates, projects, whatever it is, it all gets announced there first. Of course, that's where we have the community, where we hang out, we chat, we steal memes from other people's servers, claim them as our own. And of course, it is where I host the Vintage Story server. It's basically like Minecraft, but the way I wanted Minecraft to go. So yeah, it's there, linked in the description. Make sure that you join the community today. Share these videos with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, go share these videos with everybody that you know. Also use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, linked in the description. Make sure that you are that you're doing this stuff, right? Another reason to join the Discord. Artists, musicians on YouTube or otherwise, this is an open invitation. If you want any of my musical skills for any of your projects, whether it is my guitars, Mongolian throat singing, you know, the good old kind of thing, regular singing, voice acting. If you want help figuring out something for your composition, whatever it is, reach out. Let's make stuff together. Let's work together. Let's make stuff, right? If you're the audience and you know somebody that could benefit, reach out. Let them know. Please do not harass anyone. Please do not spam anyone. Be cool about things. Don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. That's up to 1 week in advance, so become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I'll be linking in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video. It has the instructions on what to do. If you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. We stream live on Twitch, YouTube, and Kick so that you can tune in from whichever platform you prefer. Again, 6 p.m. Central Europe. If you're not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch. Another reason to join the Discord. So if you live in Batman, and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to Discord or Twitch and it's going to show in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. Recorded live during the main channel's after show, and then the recordings go here. Linked in the description, or just search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G and you got it. And, yeah. There you have it, the Battle of Tedorigawa, Sengoku BASARA 2 Heroes. Good stuff, man, good stuff. I was expecting a fade out then, and we didn't have it, so really good stuff, dude. But, yeah, let's move on.